Welcome on into Falcons Today. We're talking extension candidates for Atlanta. Right now, we're kind of in that real slow portion of the offseason. It's like the offseason of the offseason. And this is usually where GMs start to go, all right, we've taken care of free agency, we've taken care of the draft. Now we can kind of look at our roster and our books and figure out who do we want to lock up long term. And you'll see extensions get done as we get closer to training camp, and especially when training camp gets underway, and then through the preseason into the regular season. Because the GMs, the manager, the GMs, the agents, they're in a lot more close contact, and that's where you see a lot of deals get birthed. So I want to look at a couple of extension candidates for Atlanta. Now, if an extension happens for any of these three players we're going to look at or anyone else, you know we're going to do a video on it. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single thing. Now, the first candidate you saw coming a mile away, it is indeed AJ Terrell. And this is not a new topic. This is not a new candidate. But I do want to kind of refresh everyone's memories on Terrell and also kind of come from a different angle as well. So some background. Terrell entering the last year of his rookie contract. It's that fifth-year fully guaranteed option, $12.3 million. He has made 61 starts since being drafted 16th overall in 2020, which, by the way, is fifth amongst all cornerbacks. So when you look at extension candidates, touchdowns, yards, picks, sacks, whatever position you play, those are all very important factors into deciding whether or not to extend them. But one stat that does not get usually mentioned enough is availability. If you are paying someone to do a job, you want them to be healthy to do the job. And injuries stink, and they're out of players' control, but that is something that you have to factor in. And Terrell is someone that you can be confident in being available. Through 4 seasons so far for the Falcons, some may look at his stats as like up and down. I don't think that's an appropriate way to look at it. Yes, you can look at Terrell's first two years and compare them to the last 2 years. And the first 2 years, he had 4 interceptions and 4 forced fumbles, 8 takeaways. He has had 0 the last 2 years. Pass breakups is down. Tackles is down. I think your casual would say, oh, Terrell's not as good. I'll challenge you on that. Let's look at AJ Terrell's stats in coverage now. Look at the amount of targets that he had the first 2 years compared to the last 2 years. Those are down. Look at the completions. Those are down. Look at the yards given up. Those are down. So, yeah, he may not have the interceptions and the pass breakups and the forced fumbles, but that's because no one's looking his way. Look at the targets. Look at the completions. He has become an island corner. So, you're not going to get the big plays when the guy is on the other side of the field of where the ball goes. And that's not a bad thing for your corner. That's actually a pretty impressive thing. Now, what kind of money could Terrell get in an extension? I think we can all agree AJ Terrell is a really good corner in this league. I think he has Pro Bowl caliber play in him. I'm not going to go as far to say that he is a top 3 corner in the NFL. And I don't think that he'll be paid like a top 3 corner. But I do think AJ Terrell could crack the top 10 for highest paid corners in the National Football League. So, here's the extension idea that I've been portraying all offseason long. It's a 4-year, $72 million extension. That's an average of $18 million a season, and that would make him the 9th highest paid corner. So look at that $18 million. Now look again at the top 10 highest paid corners. We're talking about going one slot behind Jalen Johnson. And I don't think he's very far off from the L'Jarius Sneeds and the Jalen Johnsons of the world. I think this is a pretty good deal for both sides. The Falcons get their number 1 corner locked down without some massive overpay. And for AJ Terrell, he gets to be the top 10 highest paid cornerback in football and doesn't have to gamble on this upcoming season and then test free agency next year. Now, what's a possible outcome where the Falcons decide not to extend Terrell? If Raheem Morris feels like, listen, for what I want to do defensively, I don't think Terrell's a good fit. We're going to run a lot of zone defense. We think AJ Terrell is better suited for man defense. So we're not about to invest in him for the next 4 years if we don't think he can run our system well. We can find someone else for half the price that'll be better at this job. I know this probably isn't the best Colin Cowherd analogy, but I think it'd be somewhat like, hey, we need a plumber, and you bring in an electrician. Like that's not a great one, but the point being is like there are roles within positions, and if they don't think like Terrell's a good fit in that scheme, that could be something that ultimately leads them down the path of we're going to play out this year. We'll see how he does during this upcoming season if he starts to jive well, and if that's the case, maybe they get a midseason extension done. If they let it go into the year and AJ Terrell is balling out and it's October and November and they give him that offer that I just showed you on screen, AJ Terrell might go, you know what? If you gave me that in August, I would have said yes. But now that I'm almost at free agency, I can get $20 more million if I wait a few months. So no, that is one factor to consider. Now the other thing is, no matter how bad of a fit you think AJ Terrell will be in this defense, I just don't see a world where the Falcons can accept going into 2025 needing a pass rusher and a corner, because they already know they have to go get an edge rusher in next year's draft or free agency. Factor in corner, you're looking for 2 cornerstone pieces on your defense. That's a really long to-do list for one offseason. So that could be something that sways them back in favor of extending Terrell. So let me ask you guys this question. Would you extend AJ Terrell? Give me a yes or give me a no down in the comment section whether or not you would extend the Falcons' 2020 16th overall pick out of Clemson. Moving on to our second candidate, Drew Dalman, the center, who I think is likely to get an extension. He is entering the final year of his rookie contract. He was a 4th-round draft pick out of Stanford back in 2021. Didn't start at all in 2021, but started every single game he's played in since 2022 and has made 31 starts, period, over the last 2 seasons. Now, when you look at his Pro Football Focus grades as a starter the last 2 years, the guy went from being the 14th best center, middle of the road in his first year as a starting center, to a top 3 center last year. And conveniently for him, and good for him, he goes into the final year of his contract, in a contract year, coming off the best year of his NFL career, which definitely sets him up nicely for a big payday. Now, what do centers get paid? Well, lucky for you, that's my job. Tyler Biadasz got paid by the Washington Commanders in free agency this year, a little under $10 million. I think this is the range that you could see Drew Dalman get paid, especially if it's an extension. Usually extensions are slight underpays for the athlete, but they don't have to gamble on that upcoming season, and they get all that guaranteed money right now. And if they were to get injured, it's not all wiped away. So I think you could see a Drew Dalman extension look something like this. A 4-year, $40 million extension. That's an average of $10 million. So that makes him the 5th highest paid center in football, and you guarantee $30 million, which basically makes this a 3-year, $30 million contract. And now you look at Atlanta's offensive line, and its core pieces, which are almost all 5 of them, are locked in for the upcoming future. Jake Matthews sure is coming towards the end of his career. Bergeron's entering year two. Drew Dalman's entering year 4. Chris Lindstrom signed an extension. He's locked up for the foreseeable future. Caleb McGarry has 1 year beyond 2024 on his contract. Like, you've got your entire offensive line locked down for 2024 and 2025. You'd have the same starting 5 offensive linemen for 3 straight years at a minimum. 2023, 2024, 2025. That's a rare thing for teams to accomplish. Now, before we get on to our third and final extension candidate, trivia question for today's show. The Falcons extended what offensive tackle to a 6-year, $40.8 million contract in 2013, but unfortunately, he only played 4 games on that 6-year extension because of injuries? Let me know in the comment section if you can name this player. We will reveal the answer later on in today's show. Third and final extension candidate, I'm going to go with Grady Jarrett. And I'll be honest with you guys, I wanted to do something in 3s, the rule of 3s, and there really wasn't an obvious prime third extension candidate. So I felt like Grady Jarrett would be the next most likely one. For anyone wondering why I didn't do like a rookie, you can't extend a player until they have played 3 years of their rookie contract. So you can't extend Drake London. You could extend Kyle Pitts, but I think it's best for everyone to see this final year kind of work out, or the next 2 years, I should say. But anyway, Grady Jarrett. He's got 2 years remaining on that 3-year extension he signed, up to $50.4 million. Since being drafted in 2015, he is the team leader in tackles for loss, and he only trails Vic Beasley, which is kind of sad that he has to trail Vic Beasley, in sacks with 34. Now, he is going to turn, or he just turned 31 years old in April, and he is coming off a torn ACL. So, on the wrong side of 30, coming off a knee injury, you could have some very fair skepticism and fear about extending Grady Jarrett. But I think we can all agree this guy is the heart and soul of this defense. He has been one of the longest tenured players on this roster. Only Jake Matthews, I think, has been around longer. And he is such an instrumental part of the leadership of this team, and everyone loves and raves about Grady Jarrett. He's going to go down as a Falcon Ring of Honor nominee and then admission in a few years after he retires. Grady Jarrett is Atlanta Falcons football. So why would Atlanta extend him? Because look at the cap hits the next 2 years. This year, it doesn't really matter too much because all the money they've wanted to spend has already been spent. But 2025, he's got a $20.3 million cap hit. That's a good chunk of the pie. So if you were to add a year or two on, you could spread those cap hits out a little bit more and make it easier for yourself to spend more money next off season. Now, let me ask you guys this question before we look at our trivia question and answer. Who was your first favorite Falcons player? I can't remember if we've asked this question before, so maybe I'm having a case of old man brain right now, but let me know who your first favorite Falcons player was down below in the comment section. All right, one last time before we reveal the answer. Trivia. The Falcons extended what offensive tackle to a 6-year, $40.8 million contract in 2013, but he only played 4 games on that deal? I like to get a good balance of easy, medium, hard trivia questions. This is definitely one of the harder ones. So if anyone gets this right, I'll be very impressed. Let me know in the comment section. But the answer, drumroll please, it is Sam Baker, offensive tackle for the Falcons from 2008 to 2014. He got injured 4 games into the 2013 season, knee injury. He bounces back 2014, knee injury again in the preseason, and that ended his career. So back-to-back knee injuries within a 12-month span, and unfortunately for Sam Baker, never got all that 6-year, $40 million. So injuries suck, and that's kind of actually an unintended, good example and reasoning as to why you see players accept these extensions before free agency gets here, where maybe they can get more money because you don't want to be a Sam Baker. You don't want to have all that money go down the drain because of an injury. So sign it right now. You get all that guaranteed money no matter what happens. All right, that will do it for us on today's show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, give us a like, comment, share our video with a friend, and we will see everyone later.